Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for our second session of the Period Roundtable at UR Sportswear. I'm Mindy. I am Jackie's right-hand gal for all things social media and marketing. We tag team on creating content, and thanks for being along on this journey with us. I'm going to have everybody go around and give a little intro of yourself so that we can get to know each other because there's a lot of new faces here. I think Nicole's the only returning roundtabler from our first one, which is always great to see you, Nicole. So Jackie, give us a little intro to you because
I'm Jacqueline Gross. I am the owner of UR Sportswear. I am a runner. I ran at Michigan State, the 800 meters, and I also played soccer and did volleyball and track and all throughout high school. And I'm living right now in Everett, Washington. And I think that covers everything.
I am Kim Holstein. I am an ER nurse. I live in Marysville, Michigan. I met Jackie through her sister Jenny, and I run, but never ran like in school or anything like that. I started running in my mid-20s after someone told me I couldn't do a half marathon, and then I did 6 that year, and I've been running ever since. And then so about 10 years, and otherwise I ride motorcycles, hang out with my dog. That's about it.
Hi everyone, my name is Liza. I am a yoga teacher and I'm a planning consultant, and I also make nut butter spreads with my husband. We have a new startup business called Leap, and our nut butters are pretty delicious. As far as running, I've run since I was 14. I've only ever really dabbled in racing. I went to an arts focused high school that had no sports, so I missed out on that experience in high school, and then in college I did a single season of cross country, but running has always been my primary go-to outlet for just kind of recentering myself. And I primarily run trail, and I just love it. I always think of it as my original yoga in a lot of ways. A lot of what I benefit from in yoga, I also benefit from that when I'm out running. And so it's definitely in a lot of ways probably kept me sane for many, many years. And I hope to have, many future years running. It's a gift.
And fun fact, Liza and I met up for our very first running date last night, and it was the best.
It was so much fun to not run with my husband.
And it's all thanks to UR because we brought Liza on as a brand ambassador. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Thank
Yay. Nicole, did you want to go next?
Sure. Did we say our names? I'm Nicole. I ran at Michigan State with Jackie, and I ran professionally for 7 or 8 years after college. Now I do some running, I do coaching, I do a bunch of things, and creative stuff. I live in Boulder, Colorado.
And she was a national champion.
That too.
In the steeplechase.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I ran the steeplechase at Northern for a couple of years, and I was not good at all. Nicole, I'm confident you would have lapped me in a 3K.
So I'm Emily. I live in Everett, Washington, which is how I met Jackie. And I run primarily, started running in college just for fun. And then after college, did my first ultra, and then just got addicted to trails and long distance running. And then also climb as a side sport as well. I work in outreach education side of things. So work with the climbing gym here with the youth, but starting to transition from that into more data management side of jobs. So kind of having a career shift in the next 6 months or so. So yeah.
I have been friends with Jackie for a long time. We both were at Northern a little bit at the same time, but didn't quite connect until I moved out to Bellingham. Or no. we connected long before that. Jackie would come visit me in Salt Lake
Yes.
vacation for OR when she was first launching UR, we go way back, and she's one of my favorite running buddies. She's a great trail companion. Aside from running, I do a lot of mountain biking and gravel riding. It's the ski season, so I've been doing a lot of that, which has been awesome. This has been fun building out these new series with Jackie, and we're excited to bring our viewers more of our unedited opinions. That being said, our topic for today is how contraceptives affect performance in your athletics, and that doesn't have to be at an elite level. It can be at any level. And Jackie, I know you like to put out a general disclaimer.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, we said this on the last one, but I just want to make it known that if you have your period or you don't have your period, it does not make you a woman. It does not define you as a woman. So we just want to make sure that we say that part. And also, if we are not mentioning something, or you have a different perspective, or you have a different input, please feel free to message us or comment below this post, because we definitely want to hear from you and potentially have you on the next roundtable. So so the first question is, what forms of contraceptives have you tried in the past? And we'll start with Kim.
So in my early 20s, I was on pills, but they were horrible for me. I couldn't even go up and down the stairs without holding on. I just have sore boobs all the time. I couldn't do anything. So those didn't work for me. They also created a lot of emotional issues for me. The hormones really just messed with me. So I kept trying different things. Eventually I settled on an IUD, probably about 12 years ago. And I'm actually on my third one now, which has been actually great, obviously, since I've had my third one now. So that's where I went. Pills to, I think the NuvaRing I tried, it didn't work well for me either. So then I ended up with IUD and settled there.
Do you have the copper or a hormonal one?
I have hormonal. I already bled really heavily, which is something that caused a lot of issues with my running and stuff, because I could barely function for about a week. I'd be anemic, sick, in bed. So I have the hormonal, which actually stopped my periods. So I have not had a period in 12 years. I very rarely get a little spotting, and that's it.
Awesome. Nicole, you have somebody in your camp now. I
Yes,
remember from our first discussion, Nicole was the only one in the group who, if you hadn't listened to our first set of recordings, we talked about kind of how bad our periods were. And Nicole also has very heavy periods.
Yeah, and I'm interested in switching to a hormonal IUD. So I
highly recommend more. Yes, highly. Like I said, I'm on my third one. I take one out, I'm like, put another in. Well, go for it. So I just swap them out every 5 years, and they've been awesome, because I really was kind of I felt like I was disabled for a week. I could barely even go to work my first day because I'd have cramping. I'd just be laying in bed just sick. So awful. So this just awesome for me.
Okay, that's very good for me to hear. Because it's just, as I've gotten older, it's gotten worse, and I'm just, I'd stay at home, I can manage it, but if I was if I'm out in the world regularly, this is a problem.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Till in probably my early 20s to start, and just I don't know, I did not like how the hormones felt. It wasn't necessarily drastic, but I just could feel I just felt more anxious a lot. So even going places, whether it was running or just hanging out with people, I could tell I had more social anxiety than normal. So I switched from that. Went on the NuvaRing, and that one was fine. That one I felt was just easy, and also not having to take a pill every day was also very nice. But when my insurances changed, I had to go back to the pill, and just hated it. So then just went off and haven't been on any sort of hormonal contraception since last March. And I've noticed that's just helped my moods, and I just feel way more evened out. And I've never really had a heavy period. And so when I was on the hormones, my periods were often worse, which was also another like wasn't fun. So now it's like, yeah, just cramping the first day, and then usually it's pretty light the rest.
Cool.
I can go next. So when I was in high school, I think I went on the pill for a while, but I ended up like gaining weight from it, which is the most thing I was worried about at the time. So then I got off of that, and then actually I wasn't on anything for a very long time, and then recently got on an IUD, which has been really good. I would, yeah, again, I also recommend it. It's a hormonal one. It just, I feel like it's also made things a lot more even too. I highly recommend it. Mindy?
Yeah, I will definitely second that IUD camp. I was on the pill for like a long time, since I was 16, and then probably 6 or 7 years ago got my first Mirena hormonal IUD, and totally agree with Kim. It's a godsend. I love it. I never had like super heavy periods to begin with, but when I was racing as an elite cyclist, I became very, very anemic. So I kind of switched in an attempt to just like preserve any amount of blood in my body that I could. So didn't have periods for a long time because it just kind of stopped that. But then last May removed my IUD so that we could begin some family planning. And that's been a whole different trip, just not being on any hormonal input. My body has been like, oh, what's going on? So definitely after we have a baby someday, I will go straight back to that.
I have had pills. I've used pills, and it was when I was living in Spain after college, and I had a lot of trouble gaining access to birth control there, I think because of my language barriers. When I finally did get on the pill, I gained a bunch of weight, primarily in my breasts. It was hideous. Like for me, it was really hard. It was really uncomfortable to run with that weight gain in that particular place in my body. And when I got off of the pill, and over the summer, like went back to kind of more normal weight for me. And then I tried the IUD, the Mirena IUD, and it was not inserted. It was not placed correctly in my body, which I didn't know until it was taken out. But it never, it just didn't work for me, possibly because of the way it was inserted. But I had really heavy bleeding and I had really heavy cramps, which neither of those is normal for me. My normal period is like just a little cramping on the first day, and then it usually lasts 3 days. It's not a ton of bleeding. It's pretty, like my normal period is pretty easy for me to get through. I don't really mind it compared to some of the experiences I have had with contraceptives. After my son was born, we pretty quickly decided we were not going to have another kid. And my husband got a vasectomy, and that has been my favorite form of contraceptive. I have to admit, you have to be fairly certain that you don't want to procreate again, because they say they're reversible. The reality is that they're not. The likelihood of being able to successfully reverse a vasectomy is really slim. And my husband had to sign, that he was certain, and his doctor asked him like right before. So don't listen to people that are like, yeah, get a vasectomy, you can reverse it later, because that's not really the story. But I am a proponent of them as far as like taking away the onus on the woman, and a lot of the negative, like if you've had less than savory side effects from birth control, which was definitely my experience prior to the vasectomy. I never really landed with one that I enjoyed. So it's been better to just be in my body with its normal.
Yeah.
I know we're all talking great things about IUDs, which are great, but you have to get them inserted. And I have had some tougher experiences with that. It was very hard for me to get it inserted. I had to go to 2 different clinics. So that is a kind of a higher bar in a little bit of something that you might want to mentally prepare for, just in case you don't know. So do a little bit more research if you are thinking about it. I was a little bit shocked at how much pain it was. So I know mine was worse than a lot of other people's, as that's what the doctor said. But
I'll second that, Jackie. I know we've talked about your experience versus mine in that regard, and I've had a number of girlfriends who are like, "Oh no, I need to be incapacitated. Like, cannot be awake when this happens." And for me, I'm like, it's like a cramp for a couple of minutes, no big deal. So it's crazy how different everybody's cervix reacts to things being shoved into it.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, it's the size of your cervix and all the other stuff too. So definitely do some research and also like mentally prepare yourself for that too. Maybe bring a buddy when you can. So